A very good morning to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by saying that design is not just the act of creating. It is the act of seeing the invisible. These words remind us that behind every object, every space, and behind every idea that has shaped our world, there lies a moment of vision, a spark of possibility that dares to question what could be. And today we gather in celebration of such vision, one that began 25 years ago and grew into a movement that transformed how design is taught, how it is practiced, and how it is lived in Sri Lanka. And today, this is the moment to honor the past, to celebrate the present, and to imagine the future together. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Department of Integrated Design, University of Moratuwa, it gives me great pleasure to welcome each and every one of you today to this Silver Jubilee ceremony marking 25 years of the Bachelor of Design honors degree, 25 years of creativity, curiosity, and courage, 25 years of design education. Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we officially begin, may I request you to please rise to pay our respects to the nation with the national anthem of Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka Mata, Appa Sri Lanka, Namo Namo.
To start the celebration with an auspicious beginning, we now invite the following dignitaries to light the traditional oil lamp. Could we please invite our chief guest today, Professor Malik Ranasinghe, to join us, our Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor D.P. Chandrasekara, our Registrar, Mr. Dishan Jayantha, the Chairperson of the National Crafts Council, Dr. Ayesha Wickramasinghe, the Dean of the Faculty of Architecture, Professor Y.G. Sandanayaka, the Dean of the Faculty of Graduate Studies, Professor Ruwan Gopura, our librarian, Mrs. Ruvini Kodikara, the Bursar, Mr. K.A.D. Pushpakirthi, Director, Research, Professor Buddhika Jayasekara, Professor Naren Pereira, Head of the Department of Architecture, Ms. Thushni De Silva, the daughter of Professor Nimal De Silva, Director of the Philatelic Bureau, Mr. Lanka De Silva, the Head of the Department of Integrated Design, Ms. Ruwandika Senanayaka, and the IDR Event and Conference Chair, Dr. Sumantri Samaravikrama. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And now, to awaken the spirit of design and celebration, please join us in enjoying a special welcome performance brought to you by our talented Level 1 students. Well, today we are reminded that design at its heart has always been a conversation between ideas and emotions and between the past and the future. The Department of Integrated Design stands as one of the most transformative spaces in Sri Lanka's creative landscape. For 25 years, it has been the heart of design education, nurturing thinkers, storytellers, researchers, and innovators who have gone to shape not only industries and institutions, but also the way we perceive culture, community, and identity itself. Of course, this journey has not been without challenges. It has required resilience, conviction, and imagination to bring design to the forefront of national discourse, influencing policy, education, community development, and the language through which Sri Lanka presents itself to the world. Yet every challenge has been met with purpose, and every step forward has reaffirmed that design has the power to transform lives, whether through a child's learning tool, whether through a crafted object, whether through a reimagined space, or whether through a vision for a more sustainable future. And today, ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate 25 years of design education, we also celebrate the people, the passion, and the perseverance that made this journey possible. And there is no better person to tell us more about this remarkable story, to reflect on the past, and to guide us into the future than the head of the Department of Integrated Design herself. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Ms. Ruandika Senanayaka, head of the Department of Integrated Design, University of Moratuwa, to deliver the welcome address. Please welcome her with a round of applause.
Thank you, Chatrangi. A very good morning to all of you. Respected Chief Guest, Professor Malik Ranasinghe, former Vice Chancellor of University of Moratuwa, and Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor D.P. Chandrasekara, Dean of the Faculty of Architecture, Professor Yasangika Sandanayaka, Dean, Faculty of Graduate Studies, Professor Gopura, the Registrar, Bursa, all other professors of University of Moratuwa, all heads of the departments and directors of units, all members of the university academic and non-academic staff, family members of late Professor Nimal de Silva, all delegates from National Crafts Council, Philatelic Bureau, National Trust, DevCo Architects, Room to Read, industry partners, alumni, friends, and my dear students. It is both an honor and a heartfelt joy to welcome you all to this very special occasion. Today, we gather not only to celebrate the Silver Jubilee of the Bachelor of Design Honours Degree Program, but also to mark the inaugural event of the 4th Integrated Design Research, IDR, International Conference here at the University of Moratuwa. This is a moment that allows us to look back with gratitude and look forward with purpose. For me, this 25-year journey is personal. So today, I would like to reflect on the path we have taken and acknowledge a few individuals whose contributions helped shape it. I still remember the day I first stepped into the university for my tertiary education, the 14th of November 2000. Today is the 12th of November, almost exactly 25 years ago. I came as a student of the very first batch, and I am glad to see several of my batchmates in this audience today. Thank you for coming. We walked into the auditorium of the Department of Architecture on the top floor of the Sumanadasa building until we received the Lakeside Workshop, which is always known as 1 year. For design students, we shared the spaces in the Sumanadasa building with the parallel architecture batch. This arrangement was possible because the program was initiated under the Department of Architecture, guided by the visionary leadership of the late Professor Nimal de Silva. Today, we remember Professor Nimal de Silva with profound respect, gratitude, and love. He believed that design is not merely a skill, but a cultural responsibility. He consistently spoke about nature, tradition, and culture-sensitive design. The seed he planted continues to grow. At the beginning, none of us truly knew what we were stepping into. We did not know what design education in Sri Lanka could become. No, we know who we ourselves would one day become. There were no precedents. There were no senior batches to guide us. The discipline of design itself was searching for its identity in Sri Lanka. But maybe that was our greatest gift. We had limited resources. We had no fancy tools, no workshops, not even many books to align ourselves with. No mobile phones, no smart devices, or personal computers. But what we did have was the real world. Nature was our first studio, communities were our libraries, and the problems around us were our curriculum. Later, we got to know why we had so many field visits during our first year. That was because we did not have proper classrooms, maybe, or resources. And maybe the lecturers tried to identify the most effective and efficient methods of teaching and assessment by putting us to the trials. But I think because of all that, our creativity was not something abstract. It came from life, from context, from people. It was grounded in responsibility, empathy, and awareness. Today, I believe those constraints shape the core identity of this degree program. I remain deeply grateful to all the early academic staff, mostly architects, who laid the foundation of this program with commitment and vision. We will forever hold gratitude to the Department of Architecture and the many lecturers who formed the teaching and learning system for design in early years. Their philosophies helped shape our foundations. In the early years, the program offered 5 main design specializations. Those were fashion and textile design, graphic and communication design, ceramic design, furniture design, and jewelry design. From the very beginning itself, the curriculum had dedicated semesters to establish a strong foundation in design before students entered their specializations. We believe that this grounding is what shapes our core values as a program and nurtures in students a deep understanding of what design truly is. Over time, the program evolved. The journey toward establishing the Department of Integrated Design was not simple. It required institutional trust, academic courage, administrative strength, and above all, people who believed in the importance of design to society. We express our sincere appreciation to the Vice Chancellor at the time, Professor Malik Ranasinghe, Head of the Department of Architecture at the time, Professor Harsha Munasinghe, our founding head of the Department of Integrated Design, Architect Prasanna Liyanagi. Their commitment and guidance were key pillars in the successful establishment of our own Department of Integrated Design in December 2011. We also extend our heartfelt gratitude to the program director at the time, Architect Ranjitha Lahakun, the dean at the time, Professor P.K.S. Mahanama, whose guidance was instrumental, especially during the development of the department establishment proposal. The process was challenging, but it was built through collaboration, trust, and dedication. Today, we continue through 3 main design specializations: fashion and lifestyle design, media and communication design, and product design. This reflects new global conversations, new industry expectations, evolving cultural needs, and local relevance, while still holding onto the program's original soul. Our journey has never been without challenges, as Chaduranki mentioned. The lack of resources we experienced in the early days didn't magically disappear as the years passed. Even today, we continue to stretch, innovate, and adapt because our students, now the intake has grown from 25 students in the first batch in 2000 to 87 students today. This year, we completed our first batch of more than 80 students who are now preparing to graduate at the upcoming university convocation next month. Under the current curriculum, every student completes 10 to 12 design projects from level 1 to level 3 before entering the final year, where they are given the freedom to shape both their research interest for the dissertation and the thematic direction of the comprehensive design project. This structure has remained consistent throughout the history of the program. Design remains at the core, supported by other modules that provide theoretical, technical, cultural, and contextual grounding. The final year comprehensive design project, or CDP as we all know, remains one of the most defining academic experiences for design students. It is demanding and immersive, and it calls for commitment, reflection, and endurance, as well as sustained guidance and support from staff. Conducting the CDP examination for a large student cohort has further strengthened our shared culture of preparation, critical discussion, and academic discipline. I recall our own first CDP examination. At that time, there were no guidelines and no previous examples to learn from. When we asked how to approach it, I still remember Prasanna sir saying simply, you can define what the CDP should be. That moment set the foundation for a culture of responsibility, inquiry, and self-direction that continues to guide the program today. A glimpse of this ongoing spirit can be seen in the selected CDP works exhibited downstairs from the latest graduating batch. These projects reflect how the culture of inquiry, independence, and critical thinking that began in the early years continues to evolve. In sustaining this tradition over time, the contribution of Professor Samitha Manawadu has been invaluable. His long-standing role as a member of the CDP panel of examiners has guided many generations of students, helping shape the academic rigor and reflective depth that define the CDP to this day. This culture of resilience and adaptability was tested profoundly during the COVID-19 pandemic. Teaching design online felt almost impossible. Design is tactile, social, physical, and deeply experimental. Yet, through patience, adaptability, and resilience, under the leadership of heads at the time, architect Situmini Ratnamalala and Ms. Melanie Disanayaka, and the unwavering effort of the entire staff at the time, we ensured that our students continues to learn, create, and grow. It was not perfect because there are things that can only happen in the studios, workshops, or in the field. Material exploration and direct human interaction cannot be replicated online. But we did not give up, and neither did our students. That itself is a story of resilience. Our growth has always been shaped by the collaborations and partnerships we have built over the years. In that regard, we also acknowledge with deep appreciation the support we received from the Japan International Cooperation Agency, as we know as JICA. During the 2002 to 2010 time period, several Japanese experts served as part of our academic staff through the JICA Senior Volunteer Program. Much of the workshop machinery and equipment that we continue to use today were received through JICA donations. This collaboration significantly strengthened our technical capabilities, especially in the ceramics, timber processes, jewelry manufacturing, and as well as pattern making. We are also deeply grateful for the trust placed in us by the design and creative industries in Sri Lanka. Throughout these years, industry partners have welcomed our students, mentored them, collaborated with us, and believed in the abilities of our graduates. Their support has helped our students step into their professions with confidence. Today, many of the academic staff in the department are themselves alumni of the program. Their presence reflects a living continuity of knowledge, values, and design culture passed from one generation to the next within the department. Beyond academia, we are truly proud of the achievements our alumni across many fields. They have emerged as entrepreneurs, designers, academics, researchers, and industry leaders holding influential positions across the local and international design landscape. Their work continues to reflect the breadth and depth of this program. All of their success stories remind us that the program nurtures not only skills and knowledge, but also confidence, curiosity, and the capacity to engage the world meaningfully. There are countless moments, memories, lessons, and transformations in this 25-year journey. To fit them all into one speech is impossible. But what matters most is understanding that who we are today, how we teach, how we learn, how we communicate, how we build partnerships, how we hold critics, how we collaborate, did not happen in 1 year or 10 years. It happened because of the people, the struggles, the experiments, the failures, the persistence, the relationships, and the courage that came before. We are not only celebrating the history of the degree program, we are celebrating a community of designers, academics, researchers, students, thinkers, collaborators, and change makers. As we step into the future, especially with this 4th IDR International Conference, may we continue to expand our horizons while staying grounded to our roots. Let us keep design meaningful, responsible, and relevant to the lives of people and the generations who will come after us. There are many individuals who have contributed to the growth of this program over the past 25 years. I have not named everyone today, but the impact of their work is deeply woven into who we are today. This journey has been shaped by countless hands, minds, and hearts. To the current students, remember, design is not only about making, it is about understanding. To the academic and non-academic staff within the department, university, and beyond, thank you for the unseen labor, the emotional energy, the passion you give every day. To the alumni, your journeys carry our story forward. And to our every supporter, industry partner, and friend, thank you for walking with us. Let us celebrate this milestone with pride, reflection, and hope. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam, for that heartfelt reflection and also for inspiring leadership and continuing to guide this department with patience and grace as well. Thank you very much indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are deeply honored to welcome our chief guest, Emeritus Professor Malik Ranasinghe, and former Vice Chancellor of the University of Moratuwa. Professor Ranasinghe is one of the most distinguished figures in Sri Lanka's academic and professional landscape. A visionary whose work bridges the worlds of engineering, economics, and leadership. He holds a BSc Engineering Honours from the University of Moratuwa and earned both his MASc and PhD in Civil Engineering Economics from the University of British Columbia, Canada, as a Canadian Commonwealth Scholar. A chartered engineer and fellow of multiple professional bodies, including the Institution of Engineers Sri Lanka, the National Academy of Sciences Sri Lanka, and the Institute of Project Managers Sri Lanka, Professor Ranasinghe's influence extends far beyond academia. He is the Vice President of the National Academy of Sciences Sri Lanka and has served as Chairman of the ICT Agency of Sri Lanka, Chairman of the Committee of Vice Chancellors and Directors, Dean of the Faculty of Engineering, and Council Member of the Association of Commonwealth Universities as well. His leadership has not only strengthened higher education in Sri Lanka, but also influenced governance, sustainability, and industry innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a privilege to have you here with us today, a scholar, a leader, and a visionary whose work exemplifies the power of intellect joined with integrity. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our chief guest today, Emeritus Professor Malik Ranasinghe.
Deputy Vice Chancellor, former Deputy Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Dean Faculty of Architecture, Dean Faculty of Graduate Studies, former Deans of Faculties, Head of Department of Integrated Design, Heads of Departments, faculty members, Chairperson Sri Lanka Craft Council, distinguished invitees, members of Professor Nimal de Silva's family, graduates, students, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your kind invitation for me to be the chief guest at the Silver Jubilee celebrations of the Bachelor of Design Honours Degree Program. I'm honored by your kind invitation, and it gives me great pleasure to extend my congratulations and best wishes to the Department of Integrated Design at the Faculty of Architecture. I'm very glad that today you will be honoring the late Vidya Jyoti Emeritus Professor Nimal de Silva, the inspiration behind the BDS Honours Degree Program, with an issue of special commemorative stamp among the many activities planned as a part of your Silver Jubilee celebrations. Therefore, let me take this opportunity to go down the memory lane to explain why honoring the late Vidya Jyoti Emeritus Professor Nimal de Silva is most appropriate and timely. The original proposal to start a design degree program was floated around 1997-98 by the late Emeritus Professor Lakshman D. Alvis and Emeritus Professor Lakdas Fernando. It was supposed to be a combined degree by the two faculties that comprised of the then University of Moratuwa. Department of Architecture was to provide the design input, while the Department of Textile and Clothing was to provide technological input to the degree program. Even though such degrees exist in foreign universities, given our administrative structure, running a degree program jointly would have been a nightmare. I believe, as head of the Department of Architecture, late Professor Nimal de Silva insisted that it is more practical to have two degree programs. Sena heads prevailed, and it was decided to have two degree programs. The only dispute was whether there should be two fashion design programs. Again, Professor Nimal de Silva prevailed, arguing that there was room for both, with this program producing graduates who would be trained in the Sri Lankan tradition, and the fashion design program in the engineering faculty focusing on the international trends and needs of the apparel industry for export. By then, I was the Dean of the Faculty of Engineering. I am very happy with the decision that the university made then. As today, design graduates from both faculties have a huge impact on our industries, whether it's apparel, handloom, jewelry, ceramic, furniture, media, advertising and graphic design, or packaging. Whenever I meet or hear of the great success stories of our design graduates from both faculties, I believe we are indebted to the inspiration and hard work of late Professor Nimal de Silva and Professor Lakdas Fernando. Initially, in 2001, the BDES program in the Faculty of Architecture was attached to the Department of Architecture, as the head of department explained, while the BDES program at the Faculty of Engineering was attached to the Department of Textile and Clothing, now the Department of Textile and Apparel Engineering. It made sense initially. However, as we progressed, we realized that it is not a good idea for the same head of department to be responsible for 2 degree programs, as the development of the new degree program tends to suffer. As Vice Chancellor, I pushed and argued to create different departments for each degree as they matured. The Department of Architecture agreed and created the Department of Integrated Design in 2011, and I'm happy to see the founder head of department seated there. Unfortunately, to date, the BDES program in fashion design and product development remains in the Department of Textile and Clothing, Apparel Engineering. When my own Department of Civil Engineering proposed a new degree in transport and logistics to meet an industry need, I prevailed to create a separate department of transport and logistics in 2005, which has now become the much sought after Department of Transport Management and Logistics Engineering, which wouldn't have happened if it stayed in civil engineering. I always believe that the students who enter the University of Moratuwa are the best in their age cohort. And our task as academics is to guide the students to become the best they can be. While lectures and other academic requirements given in our curriculums are necessary, what enables the students to become the best they can be is by measuring their talent, creativity, and performance to meet the challenges outside the university, in the real world. To me, student achievements in international competitions was the best key performance indicator of the University of Moratuwa's transformation of the talented undergraduate to much sought after graduates. That is why, as Vice Chancellor, I always encouraged and sometimes pushed students' participation in national, regional, and international competitions. I used to look forward to the performance of the BDES students at the annual Student Star Packaging Competition, a global competition conducted then by the World Packaging Organization. I remember in 2008, your academic staff members reporting with pride that an undergraduate of the BDES degree program was placed first globally at the World Student Star Packaging Competition. I believe you're still winning world-class competitions. My message to the academic staff, and the students of the BDES program, as you celebrate your outstanding performances during the last 25 years, is always strive to become the best that you can be by competing with confidence with the best in the world. It is only then that you will know what you are really capable of. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to address you as the chief guest as the Silver Jubilee celebrations of the BDES degree program. I congratulate the head of the department and the organizing committee once again on all your efforts in making these celebrations an outstanding event. I wish you all great success in your future endeavors in the next 25 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor. It truly is an honor to have you here with us. Thank you very much indeed. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to one of the most important moments of this morning's program, the Silver Jubilee Tribute and Stamp Launch in honor of the founder of the Bachelor of Design Honors degree, Vidya Jyoti Emeritus Professor Nimal de Silva. Professor Nimal de Silva's story is one of remarkable intellect and boundless vision. Through decades of service as a teacher, a researcher, and leader, he transformed design education in Sri Lanka, expanding its horizons beyond form and function towards a philosophy that embraced culture, heritage, and the human spirit. It is his deep belief that design is not merely a craft, but a dialogue between creativity and conscience. And today, as we celebrate 25 years of this degree, we also celebrate his dream, a dream that continues to live, breathe, and inspire through every project, through every designer, and through every story shaped by this department. But to tell his story with the depth it deserves, we now invite someone who knew him not just as a mentor, but also as a close friend and a colleague, a person who walked alongside him through the evolution of design education at Moratuwa. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome architect Dr. Sagara Jayasinghe to share his reflections on the life and legacy of Vidya Jyoti Emeritus Professor Nimal De Silva.
Chief Guest Professor Malik Ranasinghe, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Dean of the Faculty of Architecture, heads of departments, members of Professor Nimal De Silva's family, distinguished invitees, colleagues and students. At this special moment, as we celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Bachelor of Design Honors Degree Program, it is both a great privilege and a deeply emotional occasion for me to speak about the founder of our course, the late Professor Nimal De Silva. To me, he was not only a teacher, but also a true mentor and guru. It is because of him that I stand here today, able to share my thoughts and memories of this remarkable personality. Professor Nimal De Silva was a master of many disciplines. As an architect, he led one of Sri Lanka's leading architectural practices, where I too had the privilege of receiving my own professional training. He also served as a head of the Department of Architecture, Dean of the Faculty of Architecture at the University of Moratuwa, and one time as chairman of Urban Development Authority. As a historian, archaeologist, and heritage steward, he served as director of Postgraduate Institute of Archaeology affiliated with the University of Kelaniya, president of the International Council on Monuments and Sites, Sri Lanka, and Director General of the Central Cultural Fund. As a designer and artist, he guided the National Design Center and authored numerous articles, papers, and books on traditional art, heritage, culture, nature, and landscape. His vision extended far beyond architecture and design, first as a scout leader, and later as National Commissioner of the Scout Movement of Sri Lanka. He believed in nurturing creative young minds with a deep love for their motherland. As a former scout myself, I know how profoundly he cared for the next generation. Drawing upon his wealth of experience, expertise, and empathy, he gifted to the University of Moratuwa a truly unique academic program, one that integrated multiple design disciplines deeply rooted in Sri Lanka's cultural and environment, yet enriched by modern thinking. What began as a modest program with the 25 students under the Department of Architecture later evolved into a separate Department of Integrated Design, expanding its intellectual and creative horizon, fostering innovative thinking within the learning environment. It now produces around 85 students each year, specializing in 3 major design disciplines: product design, fashion and lifestyle, media and communication design. 25 years later, the Bachelor of Design Honors Degree Program at the University of Moratuwa continues to stand as the only one of its kind in Sri Lanka's university system, as a living testament of his visionary leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, with these few words, I humbly invite you to join in our humble tribute, the launch of special commemorative stamp honoring the founder of design program, our beloved guru, the late Vidya Jyoti Emeritus Professor Nimal De Silva. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for that beautiful introduction indeed. And now it gives me immense pleasure to invite the representatives of the Postal Department to do the honors of launching the special commemorative stamp celebrating 25 years of the Bachelor of Design Honors degree at the Faculty of Architecture, University of Moratuwa, and paying tribute to its founder, late Vidya Jyoti Emeritus Professor Nimal De Silva. May I invite Mr. Lanka De Silva, the Director of the Philatelic Bureau, together with Mr. S. Jaladeepan, Senior Publicity Officer, to do the honors on stage. May I also invite the Head of the Department of Integrated Design, Ms. Ruandika Senanayaka, to present the first day covers and the commemorative stamp. And to present these very special stamps, can I also invite Ms. Tushni De Silva, daughter of Professor Nimal De Silva, on stage, along with our chief guest, Emeritus Professor Malik Ranasinghe, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor D.P. Chandrasekhara, and the Dean of the Faculty of Architecture, Professor Vaiji Sandanayaka, to please join in the honors. Ladies and gentlemen, we are marking the moment where we are launching the special commemorative stamp celebrating 25 years of the Bachelor of Design Honors degree and paying tribute to our founder, late Vidya Jyoti Emeritus Professor Nimal De Silva. And this stamp will stand as a powerful acknowledgement of a journey that began with one man's belief in design as a force of change, immortalizing a legacy that continues to inspire creativity, compassion, and courage. And at this moment, we would like to express our heartfelt thanks to Mr. Dhanushka Aryaratna, who is here with us today, one of our very own alumni, who illustrated the beautiful portrait of Professor Nimal De Silva that appears on the stamp, and also our former head of Department of Integrated Design, Ms. Melanie Disanayaka, for the profound write-up of the professor that appears on the docket along with this. So thank you very much. Let's give another round of applause and celebrate our founder, late Vidya Jyoti Emeritus Professor Nimal De Silva. As you can see on the screen, this is the illustration that appears on the stand. Thank you very much. I think it's a beautiful tribute to our founder as we mark 25 years of design education. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us on stage. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move into something a little bit different as we celebrate design this morning. We're going to move to the soft launch of Breathing Space and the invocation of the breathing cycle, a living trilogy conceived by architect Prasanna Pettigala Liyanage, Senior Lecturer and founding head of the Department of Integrated Design. The trilogy, titled Breathing Space, Breathing Stone, and Stone Root Ritual, follows a journey through air, stone, and soil. It explores how our cities, monuments, and landscapes can learn to breathe again. This session encompasses reflections of Erushmi Karunaratne and Pratibha Fonseca as the designers and first readers of the work, with an accompanying theatrical reading ensemble, Sajani Ranathunga, Netma Mithananda, and Prabharshana Harishchandra. Let us open this cycle together as we witness the first breath of a continuing journey. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Erushmi, Pratibha, Sajani, Netma, and Prabharshana with a round of applause.
In Kandy, the erosion of traditional urban structure has created new tensions. Streets that once supported religious processions now struggle to accommodate motorized traffic. Courtyard that once served as shared spaces are fenced off or paved over. The lakefront, once a site of leisurely strolling, is now interrupted by vehicle access points and advertising boards. These changes are not just physical, they are how people relate to each other and to the city.
When I began designing breathing space, I realized cities are not made by architects alone. They are made by so much more. By air, by movement, by habitat.
I live in the pause between your drawings.
Every line was drawn to hold that pause. The veranda, the step, the shade, the small gaps where the time slows.
Often forgotten, but always felt, in the presence and absence of life.
These pages began as grids, black, white, and red. But somewhere along the way, they began to breathe. Lines became layers, layers became rhythm, rhythm became life.
You drew walls, but I found the space between.
This book is not about monuments or skylines. It is about what happens in the space between.
I am the quiet breath where past, present, and future meet.
A street in the morning becomes a market. By dusk, a procession. By night, a whisper. Design must hold all three, the seen and the invisible.
You cannot contain me, you can only breathe with me.
Every page, a breathing space, is a section through time, listening to what changes and to what remains.
People, trees, thresholds, each one exhales into the other. Cities remember through breath.
Design became an act of attention, not to objects, but to relationships between light and wall, strangers and place, shade and belonging. If breathing space has a single message, it is this: cities survive through care, through pauses, through the breath we share between strangers and between generations. A very good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests. I am humbled by the opportunity to present this book written by architect Prasanna Pitikala Liyanage. Through this presentation, I hope you take you through what it was like designing this book, and as a first reader. This book, Breathing Space, I would like to highlight that through breath, we talk about the act of breathing, that space alone is not passive, it is living, towards the regeneration of public activity in the spaces between buildings. So what is the space between? What do we call breathing space? It is a dialogue about the invisible, the in-between, and the overlooked. It is the spaces that we take for granted, the spaces that are most crucial, and the spaces often that do not derive name, but have the most impact. So how do we experience space? From your morning to your night, we accompany different spaces by ourselves together. These spaces start from walking from pavements to the humble shop selling tabili or the vade kade, or the seating areas next to seamless nature, or the children who take for luxury the playgrounds that surround us in unexpected places, from alleyways to backyards. Space is not passive. It shapes us, just as we shape it. But space alone is void without life. These spaces are often unprogrammed, unlabeled, and uncelebrated. These spaces can mean the vegetable shops, to the walkways, to the streets where much of life starts from morning till night and continues while we sleep. It is also the alleyways that give privacy, and also the alleyways which combine community and let us meet strangers to form bonds for life. Designing breathing space was not something that I would call easy. It was in fact a moment of true crucial messaging that meant that breathing space is more vital than before. In an age where we call the digital era, where we spend less time in actual spaces and more on digital spaces on our devices, breathing spaces highlight that physical presence in physical spaces demand more need for attention and care. These spaces are able to give us meaning. Through the design of breathing space as a publication, this book approaches audiences, both designers and non-designers. Non-designers and designers are not two classifications of people, but they are people in all who are in the community. This community derives space as a common ground. In the design of this book, 3 colors form the color palette: black, gray, red. Red demanding the attention for the importance of breathing space and the importance that we should give it with care, attentiveness, and intention. In the space that we design through this book, it has different layers. From layers that speak with red, black, gray, and grids. Often through publication design, we choose to do justified text. But through the intention of highlighting the irregularity of real space, we have chosen left alignment. This, we believe, is not rules or rule breaking, but it is an experience that we gain through this book in accommodating space as a community. From micro interruptions with pull quotes that highlight stanzas that act like spatial interventions calling for our attention and need for action. This book highlights for both you and I that space needs to be designed with intention. It emphasizes that design is not an end result, but a continuous process, a living framework. Through the design of this publication, it encompasses not only space, but life, rhythms of life, and the multi-layered aspects of community.
Begin with a body, not a diagram, a spine that remembers upwards without pride, a womb that receives and returns, method and wisdom, Purusha and Matru, two hands learning the same work. Union is not a mood, it is design you can walk. It is rail at the elbow, it is jar at the shoulder. It is square that steadies the mind and a curve that feeds it back as light. If you cannot touch it, you do not have it. If breath slows when you arrive, you are near.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is having a good day. So, when I first began designing breathing stone, sorry, you can't see it. Yeah. When I first began designing breathing stones, I thought monuments were made to last.
I last only through breaking.
Well, stone does not remember through its weight, but it remembers through what it lets go, whether maybe hands and silence.
I remember by being touched, by being forgotten.
This book was built around one central question: can a monument live?
Not unless someone listens.
At first, I answered with geometry, symmetry, grid, and form. But then again, every line began to erase the breath within it. The perfection felt like obedience.
Your line cut through my quiet. I cracked open to remind you am still here.
So I stopped designing and I started listening. The lace that runs through the pages is not just an ornament. It is like a memory growing on skin. It carries the time of care, the hands that line, wash, and repair.
Their fingerprints are my scriptures.
So I avoided clean DOMs and final maps. If a page looked like a landmark, I had to dissolve it. Nothing here is whole. Everything breathes through fracture, where some pages move like drums and some like cracks. Each spread holds a tension between what bears weight and what gives that weight consent.
Hold me without owning me. Name me, then let me breathe.
Purusha and Matru, structure and breadth, spine and mercy. They live side by side on these pages. So the book became a body that breathes through its wounds. So it does not erase, but it listens. It does not fix, but it forgives. So every spread is a small act of repair. Line that forgives, thread that forgets, and shadow that remembers. Well, design for me became an act of reading. Reading fissures, reading silences, and reading consent.
I am the crack. I listen for hands that mend without hiding.
Okay, so breathing stone is that reading made visible, but you can't see anything, sorry about that. A monument that lies open. Asking quietly, will you let this stone live? Well, to be honest, when I first started designing the layouts for this manuscript of Breathing Stone, I thought it was just another book about monuments. But it turned out to be a book about us, of course. Because when a culture forgets how to breathe, its monuments start suffocating first. We might call it heritage, but actually, often it's just embalming. Like I mentioned before, this book asks a strange question: can a monument live? At first, I tried to answer it with design, my own design philosophies. Perfect grids, strong geometry, classic proportion, but every time I imposed order, it felt like pages went very numb, very silent. Stone, it seemed, didn't want perfection. Actually, it wanted forgiveness. And then I began to listen to the cracks of the limestone, the stains, the soft labor of hands that wash and mend. That's when Breathing Stone changed from a mere document into pulse. Well, its author, my supervisor, writes about Purusha and Matru, the two forces that build and healed the world: structure and softness, method and mercy. Once I started working on this book, I realized that design itself breathes between those poles. We draw lines to hold meaning, and we curve them so meaning can hold us back. What I have learned and is still learning from this book is very simple. A monument lives not because it stands, but because someone still tends to it, day after day, with care, with breath, and also with consent. So, Breathing Stone isn't just about stone. It's about ethics of attention, about what happens when design decides to listen. So today, if you hear the drums under this voice, know that it's not rhythm alone. It's the sound of a monument remembering how to live. Thank you.
I run my hand along a nearby tombstone fragment protruding from the soil. A piece of carved stone with no name, warmed by the sun that is now breaking through the mist. The stone is cold at first, then gradually aligned with the stored warmth. I realize this shard is a witness, a surviving fragment of a story nearly lost. Even the stone is impermanent. I think yet stone remembers. In my mind echo the words of an ancient Roman epitaph. Death comes to even the monumental stones and the names inscribed thereon. Yet here the stones, though shattered, keep a kind of memory in their very presence.
Every city has a place where time softens, a place where life returns, memory lingers, a loved one, friend, family, or stranger lies here. Through design, we listen, we reflect. Impermanence meets common ground, names etched on stone, a legacy.
We carry the alphabets of forgetting.
We rewrite them in grain.
I chose a vertical format like a headstone, tall enough to kneel before, narrow enough to hold in both hands. I used off-white paper, slightly porous, so the soil tones could breathe through the ink.
Life, death, and memory meet. I remember.
The serif type is a whisper, a remnant of colonial scripture. The sans serif beneath, it speaks our own rhythm. Between them, a pause, a truce of fonts.
Stone,
Roots, ritual.
each word a different weight.
The book sequence follows the act of burial. First stone, then root, then ritual. Opacity to translucence, grief to care. Each overlay is a breath.
Unseen yet connected. We breathe together.
I printed the soil color by grinding the pigment from Adahana Malua. It stains different on each page. No two memories the same.
You returned what we lent. I have not one, but many layers.
At dawn, the wind moved the vellum. The pigment trembled. I kept that blur. That is the moment truth entered the work.
Precision without pulse is death.
This book refuses symmetry. Its margins wander. Its captions drift towards the edges, the way offerings slide towards a shrine.
Sinhala, Dutch, Tamil, Latin. Each word breathes through the other.
Design became translation, not of language, but of care, to tend stone as you would tend memory.
We grow through every alphabet, through many languages.
We endure every hand.
We compose worlds from what was broken.
What was fractured became woven. What was buried began to breathe again. Stone, root, ritual is not an end. It is a way of learning to renew, to let what was stone return to root.
Stone remembers.
Root renews.
Soil forgives.
introducing you to the third act of the breathing cycle is stone, root, and ritual. When it comes to our mind, the word symmetry, does it have a pause, an exclamation mark, a comma, or a continuity? A symmetry is often a solemn place, but when it comes to our mind, most commonly, it ends with a full stop. It commands sadness, loss, finality, ritual, tradition, burial, and silence. This finality, for some, the symmetry shakes reality, a sudden awareness of mortality. For others, it is grief, sadness, ritual, or an act of remembrance, a place to leave flowers, a place to light lamps, a place to leave what we can't carry anymore. But almost all of us think of symmetry as one thing, a memory. However, through stone, root, and ritual, this memory that we talk about is not fixed, is not of the past, but is still active, alive, and in flux. As a designer approaching this book, it was a context full of multi-layers for thinking, reflection. Death is not restricted to stone. However, it talks about impermanence, listening to what is living and non-living. It reveals much to a designer who is critical. It also embodies epistemicide embodied in stone through colonial perspectives. Colonial powers use stones and symmetries to declare, we were here, we matter, and we stay. This overruled those who were once there before the land before. Sometimes buried underneath the truths of layers in the ground, or sometimes in the memory, where most often stones were repurposed by colonials. However, no testament outlives the earth. Impermanent indeed are all things, and that is of same to death, stone, root, and ritual, where the earth is often in transition and movement, unseen and seen. As a designer approaching this book, there were many layers, not living by itself, but interwoven through colonial and native worlds intertwining continuously. These are the many monuments of the dead that the living make, in the continuity of redefining memory and the continuity of moving memory that is often shifting through different perspectives, truths, and understanding that decay can be a context for decolonial healing through impermanence and continuity. We invite you to explore the books of Breathing Space from Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3 as you explore space through different meaning and context. Through which I conclude, in its final act, stone represents colonial attempts at permanence. Roots, however, represent the land reclaiming memory. Ritual represents communities rewriting history. Thank you.
A huge thank you to Arushmi, Pratibha, Sajani, Netma, and Prabharshana. I think through those words, we have witnessed the awakening of a trilogy and a shared act of attention between design, text, and breath. Breathing Space marks the beginning of the breathing cycle, a continuing exploration that will soon grow into breathing stone and stone root ritual. And I think this soft launch reminds us that design is also an act of renewal. It is a way of learning to see, to pause, and to breathe within our cities once again. To mark this special occasion, may I invite the author, architect Prasanna Pittigala Liyanage, to present a copy of Breathing Space to our chief guest at this occasion, Emeritus Professor Malik Rana Singha. Let's give a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. A huge thank you goes out to architect Prasanna Pittigala Liyanage. And of course, congratulations. What a wonderful way to mark 25 years of design education. Thank you very much indeed. And as we continue this journey of reflection and renewal, we now turn our attention to one of the department's most meaningful and impactful contributions, a work that beautifully demonstrates the power of design to influence the future itself. This next segment brings to light how design extends far beyond spaces and objects into the realms of imagination, empathy, and learning, shaping how younger generations see, feel, and make sense of the world around them. And it is indeed a proud moment for us to highlight the Guide to Creating Children's Fiction, a publication that has contributed directly to the National Policy for Children's Books, a milestone that reaffirms how design thinking can transform not only industries, but also national educational frameworks. So to share more about this remarkable work and the role of design in shaping the stories that shape us, it gives me great pleasure to invite Dr. Sumantri Samaravikrama, Senior Lecturer, Department of Integrated Design, and also Conference Chair of IDR 2025, to deliver the presentation on Guide to Creating Children's Fiction, and of course, its contribution to the National Policy for Children's Books. Please welcome her with a round of applause.
Okay, so thank you. I'll make this short and fast. And I only have one copy, which is my copy. I'm just sharing it so that you all will have you all will get an idea of what the book is about. So, but before I start, I also want to say why I'm here and why this project mainly. So this is actually to tell you that I want to bring in the context of what design is. And so, of course, design is a small department, definitely predominantly overpowered by engineering and other departments, which is not a bad thing. But of course, why I'm here is simply to tell you, I have a feeling you all don't know what design is. So, but we also do want to tell the fact that design is a science. So this starts off with that. And yes, of course, if you give us a task, we can turn around things overnight. But what you don't know is the fact that how we turn around things is simply because we go through a huge process and a huge scientific process and a thought process which comes in. So why you think design is beautiful is also because we know what you think. So, and also design could be theoretical, but design is also practical. So this is an outcome. This is Fiction Wonderland, a comprehensive guidebook created for children's fiction books. This is published by the Ministry of Education in collaboration with Room to Read and Sri Lanka Publishers Association together with University of Moratuwa, me representing the University of Moratuwa. I also want to say thank you to the members here from Room to Read who had funded this project also. So coming back, so I am the author, the research compiler, and the editor of this book. This was launched on the 27th of September at the Sri Lanka or Colombo International Book Fair. And so what was magical about this book, or is magical about this book, is the publication is created thinking about the children. And So in 2024, that was last year, the National Policy for Children's Books were launched and for the public review. So of course, a policy will end up only being a policy or a few pages, printed pages, if it wasn't put into action. So this publication, Fiction Wonderland, stands as a testament to what we design and what we mean when we say design in action. So a policy, even here, as the appointed chief, editor-in-chief of the national policy as well, I was able to take a different approach. Now this is also a place where I want to say how design takes a different approach in looking at a national level policy or approach towards taking different senses. So of course, as a design educator, we used to, so I used a method called the double diamond theory, where we inquired about the real problem, defined what is needed, and very clearly, not simply mentioning or bringing it only content to play. It's also based on the development and the delivery of the content. So initially, initially these members and many others came together for a few residential programs, so all representing the publishing industry. So we, of course, discussed, we mapped, we questioned, and then we conducted a 10-month-long practical session to test it. So we moved, we actually got around 20 books created, an amazing work that came out. But when we analyzed the issues, there were the books, most of the books had forgotten to speak about the main user, who is the child. So because books were created to convey adult authors' experiences or simply to fulfill a business need. So as a result, the books created did not have its full potential or intended message that was initially targeted. So as another perspective was that within Sri Lanka, we were very, we have a lot of books. So rarely we find books that are quite, we have a lot of books. Quantity is there, but quality is something that is missing. So we questioned, so are we providing developmentally appropriate books for children? We were also questioning on the fact that what about the children with special needs? So the first chapter talks about the book itself, this itself. It's about the child and the power of fiction. It is also supported, so we spoke on the importance of bringing a fiction and making sure that every book will actually speak on at least one of these components. Are we supporting a child's cognition? Are we supporting linguistic abilities, imagination, emotional connection, or very moral development? So of course, this was completely backed up with a lot of scientific theories, like Piaget's development models. We also spoke on Scarborough's reading model. So we also discussed about, the book discusses about the different types of books that needs to go into the market, and the fact that these genres play a significant role. So it's not that a typical picture book that will work to a 13-year-old. So with that, we have the second chapter speaking on the quality of children's fiction. So this, so Sri Lanka represents a diversity of races, ethnic groups, nationals, so languages, and so on. And among those, this chapter speaks on the fact that a quality book has to represent all ethnicities, including socio-cultural, socio-economic components when it is produced. So another component is we also talk about not only quality from the child's perspective, we talk about the print and the finishing of the book as well, which has to be fulfilled. So then with all that, so as of now, you would know the background of what needs to happen. The third chapter is actually putting this into action. So the third chapter speaks of shaping stories. So the shaping stories, this chapter talks on addressing of what a theme is, what is a message, what is a plot, different types of plots, and many more that you can actually use. Talking about characters, how do you build the characters, but this is mainly focused to the author and the editor. And then we lead into the fourth chapter. We actually talk about converting this story into visuals. So the fourth chapter speaks on the visualizing component of the book. So we start on talking about the importance of research tools, visual research tools. And throughout this book, we have created a story and a character called Benny the Rabbit. And Benny the Rabbit basically tells the whole story at different components and how it can be characterized. We talk on giving personality to the character. We talk about storyboarding and character development. We talk about the thinking that has to go behind across the pages, how the color changes with the mood changing of the story. So every story has its own climax, and to give that, how does theories of color actually come into play, including small tips on how do you do thumbnailing. When you do thumbnailing, you get to experiment a lot on producing the flow of the stories. Then, of course, we also go into storyboarding, which goes into the finishing aspect as well. So we talk about the character, we talk about their world, we talk about what is needed. So by this time, we believe by the fourth chapter, anybody should be able to understand what a book should come in. But of course, we conclude the fifth chapter of the book with the fifth chapter, that we actually, the whole research that we did within nearly 2 years of work, we put it into practice by actually bringing in this chapter where we have actually introduced a linear process of how do you bring a book to the hands of a child, starting from the idea stage towards a production, including something new in this component is we have introduced the review process, whereas nobody actually looks back at a book and criticizes a book which has to be developed, thinking the importance of the child. So this linear process and this chapter actually gives you we ask a very common question, and we make sure that any stakeholder within this who's contributing should have these things in mind, including the fact that Sri Lanka publishing industry has ergonomically grown. So as a result, we don't have any formal education in this sector. As a result, a single member would be playing multiple roles. So even if you're playing multiple roles, this chapter actually tells you what you need to do if you're in that, if you're taking this role. So we were able to restructure the whole publishing industry, and new titles, including an art director, was introduced to this publishing industry, representing art design graduates to actually take over, which initially it was only illustrators who were pioneering in this industry. But with the science behind this, we have introduced the profession called art direction. And then it concludes for the people who are very comfortable with a theoretical background. So yes, this is like we introduce a complete template based on all what we've learned. So there's a technical script introduced at the latter, telling exactly cross-check the questions, what you need to ask, and so on. So with that, so this book is actually around 400 pages long, and I have only one copy, as I shared. So my humble request is actually to tell you that please don't underestimate the power of children, because they are the future, and design has actually contributed to this. And as a result, we are actually we are able to change the dynamics of Sri Lankan future based on the power of design. So we believe with that, and with such a background, and the dynamics of children's fiction in Sri Lanka will change its course in the near future, and that design will continue to contribute through its power, intuition, insight, and innovation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sumantri. I think the work that has gone into this publication is nothing short of remarkable. Let's give her another round of applause. Thank you very much indeed. With that, we're going to go into a short entertainment break, once again courtesy of our Level 1 students, and we are going to be back with the final segment of today's celebration. Enjoy.
කුවේනියේ මා කුවේනියේ මම තම්මෙන්න එනවා රූබරියේ මා රූබරියේ මම ආලේ සොයා එනවා සලුව අරන් ගෙට පලයන් කුමරිය නැවක නැගී මරු එනවා කුමරිය කුවේනියේ මා කුවේනියේ මම තම්මෙන්න එනවා රූබරියේ මා රූබරියේ මම ආලේ සොයා කිලිටි දෙපා මඩ තවරයි කුවේනියේ වැස්ස වැටි තෙත තැවරී කුවේනියේ පලයන් කුමරිය නැවක නැගී මරු එනවා කුමරිය කුවේනියේ මා කුවේනියේ මම තම්මෙන්න එනවා රූබරියේ මා රූබරියේ මම ආලේ සොයා
Well, for our finale today, we turn to a story that is close to our hearts. Every year, our Level 2 students embark on a journey that challenges not only their creativity, but their understanding of who they are, where they come from, and how design can give voice to the communities that shape them. Culture Code, a project that dives deep into the everyday rituals, crafts, and living traditions of our island, translating them into meaningful design expressions that bridge heritage and modern life. Through Culture Code, our students have proven that perseverance and passion can turn curiosity into understanding and understanding into creation. As we celebrate this Silver Jubilee, projects like this reaffirm the department's unwavering commitment to design education as a tool for community empowerment and cultural continuity. And it is with great pride and pleasure I now invite Ananya and Shenali to present their project, Culture Code 2025.
Good morning. I'm Shenali and this is Ananya, and we'll be taking you through our journey of Design Project 1. Culture Code, formerly known as Adjoining Traditional Crafting, was the result of a vision to raise awareness of sustainable products realized through organic material and local craftsmanship. Since its inception in 2012, the project has sought to celebrate materials rooted in Sri Lankan tradition, while empowering local craft communities and advancing the country's social and environmental sustainability. In 2017, the initiative broadened its scope and was renamed Culture Code, gaining international recognition for eco-luxury products that merge environment consciousness with contemporary design.
In the past, the initiative has explored materials ranging from cane and talipot to banana fiber, bamboo, cinnamon, and leather. This year, as we celebrate the Silver Jubilee, we revisit a material deeply integrated into our island's identity, the coconut tree. Culture Code 2025 presents Renew, the Coconut in Full Circle, a product collection exhibition that dives deep into the exploration of the coconut tree while reimagining its creative and material possibilities. The word new directly references the coconut, while the prefix re conveys reflection and attentiveness. The title invites us to revisit, reimagine, and renew our connection with this familiar yet versatile material. The slogan further reflects the project's commitment to principles of sustainability and circular economy. As a unified body of work, Renew showcases the synergy between material and the students' innovation, creating lifestyle products that honor both the material and cultural narrative.
Sri Lanka's diverse ecosystems have long nurtured traditions rooted in natural abundance, and among these, the coconut palm, or as it is scientifically known, Cocos nucifera, stands as a powerful symbol of livelihood. Each part of the tree, from husk and shell to frond and trunk, has been transformed into tools, vessels, and crafts that sustain communities across the island. Across centuries, both myth and history have honored the coconut tree as Kapruka, the tree of life and prosperity. Renew carries this legacy into the present by uniting ancestral wisdom with modern innovation.
Beyond its cultural and historical significance, the coconut palm stands as a remarkable example of nature's own design intelligence. Its fibrous structure running through the trunk, leaves, fruit, and husk reveal unique behaviors that have long inspired creative research and material innovation. As a renewable and biodegradable resource, it supports low-impact, small-scale production while promoting waste-conscious and circular design practices. Renew explores this intersection of nature's intelligence and human intent, embodying a genuinely sustainable design ethos.
The design journey began with focused observation and deep immersion. As the first task, students explored the different parts of the coconut tree. They mapped textures, rituals, and sensory memories associated with the tree, forming visual narratives that revealed the profound relationship between Sri Lankan identity and material potential.
During the second phase, material exploration soon became the heart of the process. Students cut, charred, ground, and compressed every part of the coconut to uncover its unique properties. This hands-on experimentation blurred the line between creating and discovering, resulting in new composites such as cocoa board, a cork-like material made from a pith and starch binder.
Next, the students began experimenting with diverse forms, aiming to strike a balance between familiar shapes and those inspired by the natural structures of the coconut. This led to projects such as Mati, a series of handcrafted paintbrushes inspired by the Japanese philosophy of wabi-sabi. A broad range of other fascinating products also emerged, including Akera, a mindful baby bath set, Ayur, ergonomic palm massage tools, and Castle, a coconut shell cigarette butt holder.
Students then delved into the export market, visiting retail spaces and gatherings to study branding and visual storytelling. Combined with literature and e-market research, this revealed inspiration, pitfalls, and insights into consumer behavior and market gaps. Prototyping, the stage where imagination meets material reality, took center stage in the design process as the project's final submissions drew around the corner. Students refined proportions, tested joints, and perfected finishes, translating creative intention into tangible forms through continuous iteration.
Kitulak combined coconut husk, shell, and wood to create eco-luxury jaggery packaging that balanced functionality and craft. Tango reimagined the coconut shell as a tactile earphone wrapper, transforming a daily frustration into a soothing sensory ritual. Kogo, a marble-based coconut bowl game, merged play, sound, and sustainability, becoming a tool that promotes focus, joy, and connection. This phase underscored that refinement is not merely about precision, but about understanding how design interacts with human experience.
The final prototypes were brought to life through close collaboration with craftspeople, each chosen for their expertise in working with specific parts of the coconut tree. This process requires students to translate design intent and conceptual thinking into clear, actionable information suited for manual execution. Through these interactions, the students came to appreciate the value of shared knowledge embedded in traditional craft practices, many of which naturally embody sustainable principles.
By the final critique stage, students presented journals and prototypes that captured not only moments of success, but also failure, curiosity, and discovery. What emerged was far more than a collection of products. It was a testament to the process itself, one that values observation, experimentation, and empathy as essential components of design thinking. The Culture Code journey became an education in thinking through making, where the process of innovation was as important as the final artifact.
The final collection of products were organized into 6 categories based on their functionality and underlying design principles. Recarry celebrates movement and adaptability. This collection features portable objects, wearable jewelry, earphone cases, bento bags that unfold into mats, and even tablet stands, providing wrist comfort for artists. Relive brings the warmth of nature into our homes, from car seat covers and plantation vessels to lighting devices and bird nests, each product transforms familiar domestic settings into spaces of calm and connection. Reheal embodies restoration and well-being. Massage tools, baby bath sets, spiritual holders, and aroma diffusers are designed to soothe the senses and reconnect body and spirit.
Renourish focuses on the rituals of cooking and sharing. It consists of spice infusers, teapots, juicers, and serveware. Every design fosters mindful cooking, turning routine kitchen practices into engaging sensory experiences. Edutainment products are grouped under replay, celebrating curiosity, imagination, and playful learning. Each piece bridges creativity and cognition, reminding us that learning flourishes through touch, rhythm, and playful exploration. Rewrap elevates packaging into a medium of storytelling by reimagining the packaging for Ceylon Arak, cinnamon, and Kitul-based products. This collection blends craft and material awareness while making sustainable packaging aesthetic and functional.
Culture Code 2025, or as we know it, Renew, has been nothing short of challenging. What began as an exploration of the coconut palm evolved into a study of collaboration, adaptability, and creative transformation. We came to understand that design cannot be conceived in isolation. From working hand in hand with craftspeople to learning from our peers, the project nurtured a culture of shared growth and collective creativity.
The challenges we faced transformed us into student designers who think critically, adapt gracefully, and create with purpose. We learned that design is not merely about outcomes, it is about resilience and the ability to transform obstacles into opportunities for growth. While the journey may be demanding, it is through such challenges that we refine our thinking, strengthen our practice, and mature as designers prepare to face the uncertainties of the future.
In this spirit, we present a short video that encapsulates the essence of Culture Code 2025.
This better be some good info.
What is it about?
Culture Code.
Culture code?
Culture Code.
About?
Coconut?
Coconut. Pole.
And?
Product design.
Export quality.
Export quality.
Sustainable.
Execution.
First, the research.
Then planning.
Sketching.
Prototyping.
How many ideations? 7.
12.
15.
How many did you do?
Then what?
We worked with the crafts people.
Then we made it.
The products.
Which are
Well, mine is a tunnel toy for cats.
Naruto is a candle holder, coconut nectar storage.
Natural cleaning with the lines.
Premium cat tunnel toy.
Deep vessel for loan.
Household glove.
The castle.
3D puzzles.
Eco-friendly bed.
Furniture that connect. A two-part office board.
Tribal inspired necklace.
A dual compartment tea caddy. A bedside lampshade.
Children's musical toy.
Susansa showcase model jewelry.
Flora cocoa stick.
A wearable painting bell.
A handcrafted wellness accessory. Sheet fiber display stand.
Thermal season with packaging.
An aroma diffuser that
A self-regulated cigarette case.
The artisan or sustainable beauty collection. 100% materialistic.
the handbag as a
Handcrafted cocoa.
handmade
Eco-friendly trick juicer.
Girl, what's the whole thing called?
renew.
Renew?
To officially launch the Renew exhibition, we call upon the editorial team to present a few copies of our publication. The exhibition will open in a few minutes' time. We warmly invite you all to witness the design innovation of our fellow peers. Thank you and have a nice day.
I think we can give them another big round of applause. They did put a lot of work into this. Congratulations to all of the level 2 students. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the close of this morning's inauguration ceremony, our journey with IDR 2025 is only just beginning. So tomorrow, the conference officially opens its scientific sessions where we will gather to explore design, both as a practice and also a philosophy as well. We would like to warmly remind all of you to join us for the key events that will take place over the coming few days, tomorrow, day after, and Saturday as well. The vision speech by Dr. Joe, who is here with us today, will commence at 9 a.m. tomorrow, so we invite all of you to take a part of that as well. The keynote address by Professor Rikke Hansen will be on 14th Friday at 9 a.m. All are welcome for that as well. The Space Conclave with architect Palinda Kannangara will be at 6 p.m. on 14th Friday, and we have a series of workshops and sessions that will unfold on 15th Saturday from morning till evening, so we do invite you all to join for those as well. And this year's Integrated Design Research Conference is centered around the theme Creative Intelligence, Intuition, Insight, and Innovation, as you can see on the branding. And it will explore evolving relationships between imaginative thinking and informed decision making. So we do invite all of you to be a part of that as well. And I think in that spirit, we can now celebrate as we unveil the identity of IDR 2025. IDR 2025, Creative Intelligence, Intuition, Insight, and Innovation. So do join us from tomorrow until Saturday. Thank you very much to all of you. It's been a long morning, but thank you for sticking with us and for celebrating 25 years of design education and being here to witness the story unfolding as well. We now warmly invite all of you to join in for the opening of the Culture Code exhibition, which will take place downstairs, along with some long-awaited refreshments for you. Thank you very much and have a pleasant day ahead, everyone.